Good morning, everybody. Please get out your homework so you can check your answers. This is the riddle time worksheet that you were supposed to complete last night. Most of you were done in class before you left, so hopefully you went ahead and finished it up. So we're looking at determining whether these triangles are similar and why, and those are three reasons that we can use. We can use angle-angle if we know two of their angles are congruent to each other. We can use side, side, side as long as the corresponding sides are proportional. So you need to make sure you're matching them up right and checking their proportions. And the third way of proving similarity is side, angle, side. So the angle would be congruent between the two sides that are proportional. So you can see here, all the answers are marked. It didn't print real well, so you can't see all of my writing for the proportions, but you can go ahead and check through and look at your answers. I'm going to scroll up here so you can see the bottom half. And the question was, what was the blackbird doing in the school library? And it was looking for bookworms. If you take a look at number 6, you've got this big triangle, which if you trace it and move it away, you can see it and fill in the parts for that. So we got a length of 99, 110, and 121. Then you have the smaller triangle that's within it. So if we slide that one away, we can mark that. This was 20, this was 18, and then we had a 22. So you can see your proportions to set them up. 110 goes with 20, 99 goes with 18, and 121 goes with 22. So to check to make sure that these are proportional, you go ahead and divide those three fractions. When you do, you should end up with 5.5 for each one. So then you can say that these two triangles are similar because of side, side, side. If you hop back to look at number 3, you had to find the third angle because you couldn't tell if they were congruent, possibly, well, actually you could right away. If there was a 68 and a 44 and a 47 and a 65, there is no way that we would have two angles congruent. So that one was a not similar. All right, if you flip on over to the back, this was also deciding whether these triangles were similar or not and how you can prove it, and then writing the triangle correctly, matching up the right angles. So in this one, they talked about QXD, so Q down to X over to D. And that would match, if you see the markings, Q has 2 marks, so it's going to match with the R that has 2 marks. Then Q went down to X that has the 1, so we're going to go down to the N that has 1, and then over to the Z. So that was triangle RNZ. So you were looking at these and deciding whether they were similar or not, checking their proportions. Number 2, you had to be careful. You know, they shared an angle, so you still have to take a look at the fact that there's a small triangle in a big one. There is 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, several of you yesterday said 4 was not similar, but it is. They share an angle, and I've got it marked on my page here. So this was congruent, or this was similar because of side, angle, side. So don't forget, if those one triangle inside another, they are sharing that angle. Okay, so that was the homework answers. So now, Mrs. Brown will be handing out your quiz review. You have 10 questions on your quiz review, and this is on similarity and congruency. Please have your notes out and use your notes to help. Talk with your partner, making sure that you guys are getting the same answer, but stay on task. With the 10 problems, you're going to get like 20 minutes to do it, and that's it. So once 20 minutes hits, Mrs. Brown is going to go ahead and unpause this video, and I'll have the rest of the video showing you the answers to the quiz review. So she can go ahead and press pause now, and as soon as you get your sheet, start working on it. All right, 20 minutes are up, so let's go ahead and go over your quiz review. All right, so you've got your 10 problems, and again, they have similarity and congruency, so make sure you're reading each thing very carefully. We start out with our very first one of a proof and filling in the blanks. We're told that BC is parallel to AD, which they marked with the arrows. BC is congruent to AD, so we have two sides that are congruent right now. You can see the first two statements are the given. Then they want us to fill in reason 3. And for the statement number 3, we see that angle CBD from C to B to D, that's right here, is congruent to ADB. That's this angle right there. And that would be because of alternate interior angles, which are congruent. Then statement number 4 needs to be filled in. We look at their reason, it mentions the reflexive property. So that's going to be the side they match, that they share. So that's going to be BC. So side BC is congruent to side BC because of that reflexive property. And then how can we prove now that angle AB or triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD? And that would be because we have a side, the angle, and a side. So the angle between the two sides, side, angle, side. And I'm going to put the congruency symbol since now we've also learned about similarity. All right, I'm going to hop over to number 3. Are the triangles similar? If so, how do you know? So here again, we're going to have to take a look at proportions. I see the angle B is congruent to Z, so I have an angle. So now I want to check and see if my sides are proportional. 36, side BC, is bigger than BA, so 36 is going to match with the one that's larger on the other triangle, which is the 24. And then the 15 is matching with the 10. You can either cross multiply and see if you get the same answer, or you can divide your 36 and 24 and your 15 and 10. They both come out to be 1.5, so that shows those sides are proportional. So yes, these are similar because of side angle side similarity. Again, I put the similar symbol because now we know SAS for both congruent and similar. Okay, take a look at number 4. I'm going to go totally out of order here. Are the triangles similar? If so, how do you know? All right, I see I have a 90-degree angle in common, so that's one. But then the other two angles have different measurements. So I'm going to go ahead and see what the measurement is for angle A. So if I take 180 degrees, which is in a triangle, and I subtract the 90 and the 35, I'm left with 55 degrees. So angle A is 55, which matches with angle D, which is also 55. So they have two angles that are similar. So I can say yes because of angle-angle similarity. If at any point you need this pause for a moment, if I'm going too quick, just ask Mrs. Brown to please pause. Number 2, are the triangles congruent? If so, how do you know? Well, we see that we've got sides, two sides that are marked that are opposite of each other because this triangle is turned, so the opposite ones are going to be congruent. We have two more sides that are congruent, and then we have vertical angles. So yes, because of side angle side congruency. And then number 5. This one's also asking about congruency. So we see angle A is congruent to X, side AB congruent to XY, and side BC congruent to YZ. And if I'm looking at this correctly, that would spell out ASS, and we cannot prove triangles are congruent with ASS. Can't prove it with SSA either. So this would be a no. Those are not congruent. All right, number 6. Use similar triangles to set up and solve for the height of the tree. So I've got this big triangle here that I'm marking all up in green. All right, I've got that big, huge triangle, and I know the base is 30. And the tree is going to be X. So now I'm going to take a look at the little triangle, which I'm going to mark red. Its base is 3, and its height is 2. So now I've got my proportion. Since it's similar, I can set up a proportion. I am going to cross multiply. So 3x equals 30 times 2. It's going to give us 3x is 60. Divide by 3. And the tree is 20 meters tall. Number 9, solve for k. We've got cross multiplying again. So 8 is going to multiply to k minus 12, and 7 to k. Distribute. Get your k's to one side, so I subtracted the 8k over. Now I've got negative 96 equals negative 1k. Your last step is to divide by that negative 1, so k is going to be 96. All right, number 7, we have another proportion. We're going to cross multiply. You can either show it with the little butterfly thing or the x's like I did in number 9. So 8 is going to multiply to k, and 4 is going to multiply to 10. So 8k equals 40. Divide, k is 5. All right, number 10, solve for x and y. Now, they tell us that triangle ABC is similar to DEF. So angle A is going to match with, or side A, angle A, excuse me, is going to match with angle D. B is with E, and C is with F. So I'm going to set up my proportions first with the letters to be sure I'm matching everybody up correctly. So AB is going to be with DE. BC will be with EF. And CA will be with FD. Now I can go ahead and fill those in according to what the measurements are on each of those sides. So we've got x plus 5 over 18. BC, we've got a 15 over my EF, which is Y. And CA, 24, matches up with 10. Now you can see that we do have one proportion at 25 over 10. So that's going to help us to find X and Y. We have to set up two separate problems. I'm going to go ahead over here and do this. So first we have X plus 5 over 18. We set it equal to 24 over 10. Cross multiply. 10 times X plus 5 equals 18 times 24. You'll go ahead, distribute, solve for X, and you should end up with 38.2. And then for our Y, we can use the 15 over Y and the 24 over 10 again. So we go ahead and cross multiply. So 24y to 10 times 15. 24y equals 150. Then you only have one step left, and that's to divide, and you should end up with 6.25 for y. So if you set up your proportions first with the letters, it can help you then fill that in. All right, and then our last one, we have another proof, and it's very similar to number one. So we're told two sides are parallel. We are also told that angle G and B are congruent. So first one's done for us for the statement and the reason. The second one has angle G is congruent to B. That would be given. Then AC is congruent to AC. Well, that's this line that's right here that both of them share. So that is going to be your reflexive property. Then it's got BCA, so B to C to A here, and GAC are congruent, and that's our alternate interior angles, which are congruent. So then we can prove those two triangles are congruent because of angle, angle, side. So we have an angle B, an angle C, and side BC. We have angle G, angle A, and side BC. All right, so there was your review. So now you're going to go ahead and take your quiz. So hopefully you did go ahead and look over your stuff last night, and the review went well. Your quiz consists of 20 questions. You've got multiple choice, 13 multiple choice, and then the last group of them are fill in the blanks. Make sure you're showing your work. You should be using a pencil. So go ahead and put your reviews away. Make sure you move your desks apart. Nobody should be looking off of any other person's paper. Nobody should be talking. You guys know the rules for quizzes and tests. So go ahead and separate your desks. Give yourself some room in between. Mrs. Brown's going to hand out your quiz to you. When you are finished with your quiz, turn it over. There is a blank side on the back. If you would like extra credit, go ahead and draw me either a jack-o'-lantern or tell me a funny Halloween joke, write me a little Halloween story, anything related to Halloween on the blank back of your quiz for extra credit. Once everybody is done with their quiz, then Mrs. Brown will go ahead and collect all the quizzes at once. So please remain in your seat and stay quiet, no talking, until you are finished with your quiz. All right, good luck. You guys know what you're doing, so take your time, double check, make sure you read everything carefully. Tomorrow you'll get a movie as long as you behaved yourself today. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you Monday.